Thank you very much and good evening. Chair of the board and your board members, ladies and gentlemen, friends, it's such a pleasure to be in a large gathering again. We appreciate that we're all here and that we survived the most frightening health crisis in our generation. We know it's not whether we will have another pandemic, it's when we will have another pandemic. And another question is, how ready will we be when that happens? We have to make sure that the next time we don't just come out alive, but we have measures to protect the economy so that we never see what we saw this time. But obviously, all the better if very few of us even die. I'm not a veteran in this industry, but I use it a lot. So from that perspective, I think I know the industry. But you know my needs when I use the industry even more. I am new, but I'm learning fast because I believe in the industry and what it has for our country, especially at this time. South Africa and its people have a potential to take this industry to higher levels. I am part of the UN World Tourism Organization Ethics. This is a UN specialized agency that has a responsibility to promote responsible, sustainable, and universally accessible tourism. It also has to make sure that it does this in line with the Sustainable Goals Development, the SDGs. UNWTO has membership of 160 countries and 500 affiliated and accredited members representing private sector, educational institutions, tourism associations, and local tourism authorities. In the UNWTO, we also work with countries to make sure that they have established seamless and non-discriminatory standard for the sector to function and for the sector to work between countries. We assist government to effect rules and implement them in such a way that they make the work of the industry easier. We don't always succeed, I must say. We work with governments to synergize their protocols and establish acceptable practice, such as making sure that looking for a hotel in one country and checking in and signing in is the same in another country. It's such a small detail, but this has come out of many deliberations in the UN for all countries to speak and behave in a similar way in all countries. We also ensure the respect of the environment and encourage governments to license products that promote environmentally sound tourism. Of course, we also make sure that in all of this, the industry is able to work in a profitable way. Now, this is the objectives of UNWTO. It doesn't always work like this in real practice. We also have come out of the pandemic with new resolve to make sure that the work that we do, especially with government, is very much in synergy with communities, with private sector, and with the general population that operates in this industry. This industry was about 10% of global GDP before the pandemic. We are glad to see a steady and strong recovery. From our data at WTO, we have seen that the first 5 months of 2022, international tourist arrival increased up to 15% in many markets, and even higher in those markets where they had removed all the restrictions that were part of the COVID protocols. We also noted that there were 127 million international trips that were recorded during that time. While Europe and America had the best growth, Africa and Middle East is looking good as well. It is showing that the prospects are quite good in the near future. We've also seen that countries with easy regulations for visa access and regulations for ensuring that when people look for jobs, they are able to bring their families, have also done well. And I think this is important for us in South Africa because we are not in a good place as far as this is concerned. We also noted that countries that have co-created products with other sections of the economy have done well. Notably, Mauritius in our neighborhood has done particularly well in this area. So, as we think about the future of this industry, we see that in the near future, it looks good, but we also have to make sure that in the long-term future, maybe not so long-term, just going to 2030, we put everything in place that will make our journey stronger and possible. I would like to highlight the importance of what came out in COP26 in Glasgow, where a Glasgow Declaration on Climate and Tourism was adopted. The declaration outlines pathways that are sector-wide that we all need to understand because they impact on us. It is foreseeable that by the time we get to 2030, all matters environment will be a make or break for the industry. So we need to start now to prepare for that. We are in an unfortunate position because an important contributor to our industry is a major polluter. Long-haul transport, which is long-haul tourism, which depends on planes that need jet fuel, is an area of concern. We have to be concerned about the evolution of technology so that this can be addressed effectively. We further need green tourism in residential buildings where we house our guests. We need conservation, and we need a variety of green products in the whole sector. And we also need to address equity and ensure that those who contribute to tourism are both included in being paid handsomely and working hard. We have a large number of women and youth in the industry, but when you look at what women and youth take home after their hard work, it's nothing like what men do. Black and white, but you know. So this is something we have to address. COVID disproportionately affected women. 2/3 of the job losses were lost by women, and many of these jobs were in tourism, and they were in particular in the hospitality sector. The women lost because they are in jobs that are not secured. We need to address the quality of the jobs that women have. It was easy to fire them, and many of the employers were not obligated to rehire women. In South Africa, we also have to focus on the specific problems that are peculiar to us. The kind of security issues that we have are not good for tourism. They are not good for our citizens as well. This is an area we all have to be involved, and we also need to be concerned about. We also need to engage with government in the best way possible to see that our regulations work for the industry, because this is definitely self-defeating. And if we are not the ones who are standing up to engage, to help, to make sure that we see the changes that we want to see, we will be forever struggling to attract and ensure that the tourism who come to our countries have the best possible time. Investment in youth is also important, and I'd like to urge that we also address education and training in this industry for the sustainability of the industry. There is no doubt that this is a winning sector everywhere in the world, but particularly in our country. Barriers to success are not insurmountable. There are problems that have answers, and we know the answers. We must just be resilient and deliberate about making sure that we get the right answers. You must not leave these problems just to politicians. You should be politicians yourselves. This is your life. Don't laugh. Don't laugh at this. It is serious. You cannot leave politics to the people you least want to be led by. You have to. If every time you see politicians you have concerns, then there's a space for you. You also have to participate and bring solution. It's your country, it's your life, it's your right. Participate. Thank you.